friends, and welcome back to my channel. And if you're new here, hi, my name is Maiga Vidal and I'm a musical theater writer. And on this channel, I'm showing the musical theater process from page to stage. Now, if that's something you're interested in, please make sure to like, subscribe, and all that good stuff. And more importantly, if you'd like to support new works, new writers, please make sure to support me on Patreon. It's only $1, but you get these videos a day early, some blog posts, and just some experiment ramblings if that's what you're interested in. And with that out of the way, let's jump into this. I'm going to use this to point, so I promise it'll become important. If you have kept up with the channel, my last video was my BMI reveal. I didn't get in. So I'm actually coming from the future, and I promise I am wearing a shirt, by the way. It's just really hot in Southern California right now. I am coming from the future because, as you know, that was kind of the first days of June, and as I'm recording this, it is literally the 30th of June. So we're pretty much in July. My life is really going to change in this next month. I'm moving cross country to Syracuse, experience my first real winter. I've never actually experienced snow in winter, and I've seen snow exactly one time when I went on choir tour in undergrad. If you want to know why I'm moving, I'll talk about it on Patreon in a bit more detail. Because I'm moving and things are changing, I need to kind of record all the stuff that's going to happen in my office before my dream office, is no more. I figure I would talk about Maiga's one-year plan, which is something I have been brainstorming and working on for the last month after finding out about BMI. But now that it's been a month of struggling and putting things together and talking to John for mentorship and Pidge, the manager, which is now her new nickname, I feel a lot more centered about what the next year is going to look like. I am planning to apply to BMI again. So that's really the end goal of this one-year plan. It's the BMI and application plan, and it'll start from June of 2021 and run up all the way until application day. So I will be sharing that whole process again, along with other things I'm working on. I figure I would walk you through the entirety of my master plan for this year and talk about kind of what's on my board. This has taken me a long time to put together, and if you watch the vlogs that are going to be coming out for the next couple of weeks about my June stuff, you're going to see it in the background, but this is the finalized version. So let's talk about it. All right, let's start with number 1, work, which I've titled The Constant Duties Done Every Week, Rain or Shine. Our first panel is the most important panel because it makes me money. It's freelance. So I have 2 things there. I have LGTC and SGS, which are the 2 podcasts that I officially edit for. I'm trying to increase the economic input coming into me from freelance work, since musical theater at this point in my career does not pay. Your girl has bills and lots of credit card debt. Next, content. What is the content that you can expect and what excites me? Pidge and I have been talking about this a lot. She sent me this whole thing of like things I can do, things I can look at, and what brings me joy. And as someone who spends a lot of time on the internet, I do consider myself to be like a musical theater writer and internet person. It's really important to me to make content that reflects the work that I do and isn't the work. Most importantly, in terms of content, is the vlogs. Every Wednesday there will be a new vlog, rain or shine. Not only because I want to stay consistent, but really because as someone who has very bad memory and who struggles with remembering places and things, and just that ADD brain is very intense when it comes to memory and the pandemic. Editing the vlogs and putting those together really helps ground me where I am in the work. The vlogs are going to happen because not only are they what I want to post on the internet, but they're really more importantly a self-care tool for me. Number 2, streaming. YouTube and Twitch. Now, I am putting this video the first month of July, and maybe you're thinking, Maiga's back to streaming. The answer is no. I'm going to be moving the entire month of July, and it won't be about till mid-August till I get my furniture. So I plan to start streaming as soon as I'm able to. I had a couple of friends last month in June. This is a special shout out to Eli and AG and Sable Aradia and just everyone in my Discord chat who has constantly supported and like tried to motivate me to stream again. It made me realize how much I love streaming and how much I've missed it. I also want to stream on YouTube because I enjoy streaming on YouTube. Kate like took me to her write-a-thon stream and it's just like a completely different, more chill vibe. And so I'm thinking right now of a schedule, maybe Mondays on YouTube and then Tuesday, Wednesdays, or Wednesday, Thursdays on Twitch. I don't know exactly how it's going to play out because again, I don't know kind of what the future holds for a bit, but that's the plan. I want to get back to streaming. It made me realize just how much I love it and more importantly, how much I miss the live community aspect. And I'm just so thankful for all of y'all for being so understanding of just being in a bit of a hiatus right now. And then the last thing on my content list, do theater things and share them. What do I mean by that? I have a couple of kind of influx goals this year. I'd like to self-produce one of my works. I'd like to do a reading of one. I'd like to do something live on Twitch so people can access the readings and do that because that's kind of my overall Dramatist Guild goal this year. But more than anything, I want to attend lots of live theater, plays, musicals, things like that. It's been hard to go to theater in the last couple of years because, well, the pandemic. But now that slowly things are opening up, I want to bring theater to you in any way that I can. If it's either talking about things that I saw or things that I'm doing and just sharing that with you. I'm very adamant about demystifying the theater process. And so that's what I want to do here. And that's content that I want to make. So I can't promise what that will be, but I have shared a couple of like reviews here. Like I did Assassins and soon you'll see Hadestown as part of my vlog. So it's things like that that I want to do more of. I want to do more vlogs and stuff to go see shows. That's very exciting. That is work. I'm considering content to be work, even though I technically don't make very much money from it, but I'm prioritizing making it because I can't vlog if I'm not writing. I can't remember what I'm doing if I'm not vlogging. I can't like get better at theater if I'm not seeing other theater things. All these things feed into each other, but they're going to be reflected on the work section. For the next section, we have writing. This includes bi-weekly lessons with John, showing him my progress. So why bi-weekly? Because the other week, we're going to be doing study, but I don't want to jump ahead. I have here Monday, Thursday, 3 to 5 p.m. I originally wanted to kind of have a set schedule every day to just write. That's what makes streaming like so fun and exciting for me. It guarantees that I write that day, but I find that if I schedule everything down to the minute, I literally will do nothing. I think I'm just trying to be as open and just show up every day, but don't set an hour that I have to show up. Just create the perfect environment. That I find works for me. All right, let's talk about my two major projects this year. First, we have Café con Leche. That is the entirety of my year one writing a musical project here. You can go watch the entire thing from like idea all the way to finished draft and kernel and songwriting. That's like up now. This show is not done just because I'm taking a break or just because there's a draft of it done. The goal for my 1 year plan is to have Act 1 ready to be read and sung. Needed a break after the BMI audition. I haven't touched it all of June. I've been working on other stuff, but I feel myself itching towards trying to write it again. My goal right now is to potentially attempt NaNoWriMo and write the entire draft of Café con Leche, just the book and then lyrics. I already have a lot of song kernels, so that would actually help in setting up the vibe and stuff like that. But for right now, this is resting, but it's always at the top of my mind. There's interest for it online, which is really, really cool. So I have to finish it, and I obviously desperately want to finish it, but it just needs a bit of time to rest right now. I've been working on it nonstop for a year, and it's not fair to the project for me to keep hearkening and digging deep into it when it hasn't had any time to really settle into its own voice. I've come up with a bit of realizations about the project in the time we've been away, and I can't wait to apply those once I'm ready to sit down and write and outline that again. Next, we have a project that I've been tweeting about a lot because I've been writing a lot of it, and that you will see a lot in these vlogs. And that's Star Signs. Host a stage reading with real actors, online and in public, is the goal. So Star Signs, which is kind of the first videos in this playlist that this video will be in is a concept album that I wrote in 2019 about every single zodiac sign and a bit of a character study. Back in 2019, I wanted to write a musical, but it just didn't pan out for reasons I'll go further into in the vlogs. But the point is that now I want to sing this, want to rework it. I have a draft of it now. I literally wrote it last week and now I'm in the revising stages. I think that that's going to be my Camp Nano project, but as I'm going to literally be moving cross country, I'm not putting any goals on myself or anything like that. I just want to work on star signs for the month of July and get it read. I have some friends who are potentially going to be reading this with me on a Zoom reading, and then I want to stage a reading in Syracuse with some friends in person and see what we can do in that sense. Get people vaccinated, get people masked, or read it at a park, and then I do want to live stream it, of course. Now, there are other projects that I'm going to be working on that I don't include in my writing section. There's a song cycle I'm working with a couple of online friends that we're writing, and I'm going to be writing a couple songs for that. There's just a billion of ideas surging through my head that I am actively writing as well, but those are not anything right now that I am prioritizing except for my song cycle with friends. Like once that kicks into high gear, we are moving forward. But personally, for my personal project, these two take priority. And that's because I am going to be submitting a song from Café con Leche and a song from Star Signs to my BMI application. What I gathered from the audition is that their biggest criticism of me was my lack of depth in material and my lack of experience. So my writing and study sections are a very clear reflection of that. And so then you're thinking, yeah, BMI is 3 songs. For the 3rd song, I am going to, the last month before the end of this, start outlining my immigration musical, which is an idea that's currently been sitting in the back burner. I have lots of songs in my trunk for that, so I won't cross that bridge until these 2 are done, because at the end of the day, I can show a work in progress, just brand new project, immigration project, and then have some serious depth with these 2 projects as they will hopefully be done and read. Star Signs is going to be a 1-act and Café con Leche is going to be a 2-act. So that's writing. There's lots of writing coming your way. I'm probably going to do more writing experiments, but I'm not going to schedule them because every time I schedule something, I don't do it if the conditions aren't perfect, and I need to show up every day. Let's jump to our last section. Now, for the last section, study. These are bi-weekly lessons with John on musicianship. I talked about it in my BMI kind of saga. My biggest personal flaw I felt was my lack of piano playing like skill. I felt like I could do it on a keyboard, but for some reason I just didn't have the confidence, I feel, and that's what John kind of said, to play a real instrument. I felt like I wasn't good enough for that, and that kind of came through in my audition. Our next step for that is to tackle that insecurity by giving me more tools to work on. First, we have music theory. This breaks down to 2 major things that are going to kind of, instead of teach me the basics of songwriting, which I already know, expand my palette to be able to create more interesting compositions and also be able to arrange them in a way that doesn't sound so basic in terms of musical theater, because the expectations are so different. And even though I think like a producer and I can think in different tracks, I need to be able to do that as a piano player as well, which is a completely different skill set. First, we have keyboard theory, which is arranging. And this will be homework. I actually have this book. There is a vlog where I talk about it more in depth, but we're doing basics of keyboard theory level 9. Not only is it there to like make sure that I know like basic chord theory and like my circle fits and all that stuff, it's really about practicing keyboard. And then last but not least, score study. This is uber important because learning from the masters is absolutely what I need to do. So I think what will help with that is breaking down the scores. I bought my Assassin score when I was at the New York Drama Bookshop, but John said, Stephen Sondheim breaks all the rules. So let's start with someone who created the rules. So we are going to be studying for the first couple of months, Rodgers and Hart. So I've already started as a score study. I'll get deeper into the vlogs with this, but as you can see, it's really about breaking down the scores, the decisions made, and how lyrics and music influence each other in the writing process. We've only really had 1 lesson of this so far since it is bi-weekly and I have been moving, so I haven't been able to have as many lessons. But again, once the moving process is done, this will become very much a bi-weekly experience where I'm going to be digging deep into studying kind of the masters in a more locked in, laser focused kind of way. And then last, but certainly not least, piano playing. We have practice assigned pieces and practice my own arrangements. I have a very bad habit of writing something and not practicing. I haven't actually touched any of the BMI songs in the month since the audition, and that's bad. Like, I need to be able to play something if someone asks me to play my work. And as I mentioned in the Rodgers and Hart score, you can see here that not only do I have the actual score with the actual like sheet music and each note, but I also have the chords on top. And so that will help me reach for more than just my basic 3-note chord and go for, you know, sevenths, ninths, major, minor, you know, give myself a little bit more color, because I do tend to sing in those colors and hear the melody in those colors, but my arrangements, even just basic block chords, tend to lack that depth. So we're going to be tackling that as well in the study section. I do have these two little things. They're supposed to go kind of in the writing section, but they're just little post-it thoughts. The first is categorize songs in trunk to create new song cycles / musicals. Don't let those songs and ideas die, which feeds into develop the immigration musical ideas a month before BMI due date, which I mentioned earlier. My goal this year is to write a lot of new work, but also not let my old work just sit there and gather dust. I have been writing music since 2014 and writing full fleshed out songs since 2015 in terms of like music and lyrics. I've been writing lots of lyrics. Like, if you go into my notebooks, you'll see hundreds and hundreds of songs. Not all of them are good, but I want to parse through maybe a good melodic idea that I came up with and develop that, or maybe take a lyric and further that. I think there's a lot of material there that I can use, and even though I feel every day like I'm running out of time and like I'm running behind, I have to remember that musical theater really is a long game, and at the end of the day, I just have to show up every day and try my best. Last but not least, let's talk about this bottom row right here. If you've seen Kate's video about rejection, the thing about rejection is that it sucks, but it also proves that you tried. In the year, or the BMI year, let's say, of 2021 to 2022, from May to May of last year, I got rejected twice. I submitted to 2 things and had 100% rejection. I was rejected from BMI, and I also got a rejection from the musical theater initiative that I sent Café con Leche into. There were 163 applicants, and I did not get it. And they didn't even send me an email. I was lurking on the Facebook page and saw the announcement. And I also, this was the 24th that I got rejected from BMI, and then this rejection happened on the 25th of May. So it was very hard. It's been a little bit over a month now, and looking at these, yes, I feel sadness and pain, but also I feel accomplishment, because I put myself out there and I submitted work even though I was really scared, and even though I didn't get it, it was nice to know that people read my work. I especially like the BMI one, whereas like the fact you were asked to audition is proof that you were writing at an impressive level. I'm just going to keep writing and keep pushing at that level, and hopefully get in next year and keep submitting my work to something else, you know? And so yeah, that is Maiga's 1-year plan. Everything that I do and will do will revolve around these 3 major areas. Obviously, I'm going to do things for myself, like hiking, biking, figuring out how to do fucking snow. Like, it's going to be a lot, but at the same time, I am viewing this change of scenery as kind of a new start. I've been in this apartment and in San Diego proper for 3 years, and in a way, it's kind of nice to have sights set on what the future could be, instead of being scared, be also excited. And so with that, that's the end of this video. I didn't want to leave y'all hanging in terms of like what the next steps after BMI were going to be, but more importantly, there are some hard vlogs coming where I'm dealing and adjusting and coping with the rejection of these 2 things. And so I want to get here and tell you that I'm fine. I'm literally okay, but I want to be honest and share as much of the process as I can with you. And that means being vulnerable in vlogs, maybe in a way that I might regret further down the line, but in this moment, I do not, because I think it's important to show both the wins and the losses. So if you have any questions for me, please leave them in the comments. I'll happily answer. I'm going to be putting a BMI kind of question thing over on Discord and on YouTube, and I will be answering those because I figure you guys probably want to know about BMI. There was some interest, so I want to leave that there. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in like a month from now, because you'll see old me, and then you'll catch up to me, and then I'll be past. Isn't that weird how it works? And with that, I'll see you next time with a new video. Do you good? Bye-bye.